Welcome. This is Soundwave Live, all things music, talk, culture, and vibes. I'm Jessica Carl.
My name is COON.
And I am Gene Groove Allen.
So, Gene, what are we going to talk about today?
What are we talking about today, bro?
You know what? I'm just going to say, is that 3 words? I'm just going to say this. Project 2025.
Uh-oh.
Thoughts?
Oh, I'm going to defer to Jess.
You're going to defer to me. Well, I have to be honest, I have not read the whole thing. Mm-hmm. But I think the state of politics right now is extremely scary. And Project 2025 is even more scarier than the state of politics right now. Yeah. And I think that people need to be aware, and I'm including myself because I have not read the whole thing in its entirety. But it's just very, very scary. I think the democracy is definitely
being dismantled?
Yeah.
Slowly but surely.
You know, I'm going to just say this. You have good versus bad.
Yes.
You have right versus wrong. You have strong versus weak. And basically, that's the scenario. But one of the things that I want to note about it is that some people are very organized.
Yes.
And some people are very meticulous. Some people are very resilient. Mm-hmm. And some people are very focused. Some people will do whatever they need to do to get their agenda done. And I think that what you see folding in our society as far as politics is that because one side is doing whatever they need to do and the other side seems to be standing by and watching.
That's true. It's very interesting. It's almost like it's been methodical. Prior to this current president's term, when the other president was there was things done, set in motion, in regards to laws being passed and Supreme Court justices and all these different pieces that if you look at it singularly, it doesn't matter. But when you put it all together, it's like, wow, look what they did.
Yeah.
And a lot of this is, I mean, in my opinion, based on fear. You know, we've been running the country for so long, and now you have all these brown and black people coming in. You have all these different, the LGBTQ, all the different acronyms for that coming, you know. So I think that a lot of this stuff is basically based on fear.
I think one of the components is actually financial. I think that people are putting themselves in places where they can make money.
Yeah, for sure.
They're using
Definitely.
a lot of the institutions to assure that they have their foot where it needs to be so that they can capitalize and benefit off of this. There's a lot going on. I mean, if you look at it too, it's not just color, black, white, brown. It's green.
Yeah.
I mean, everything. I mean, the root of everything boils down to money. Yes.
Boils down to money.
But I do think that has a lot to do. I think that, I mean, I don't want to say white America, but I do think that when you see what this country is starting to look like, it makes
Scary.
people, it breeds fear.
But, you know, think about, you know, this just didn't happen today. Juan talked about organization earlier, and, you know, there's a party or a group of groups of people, men, women, whatever, that are very organized. They're doing things in syncopation, and they're making moves toward their agenda. Whereas, you know, the party that's in place now, they knew they had 4 years. You know, start prepping year one.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting, it seems like now they're like, wait a minute, we can do it.
I tell you, one of the things I noticed, though, is that a lot of what's happening is very cyclical. And what I mean by that is, if you take a look at some of the earlier history situations, if you go back to Germany, you go back to the Nazi Party, you get a chance to see a lot of what happened there is kind of being infiltrated now. The mistakes of the past will be repeated if you don't remember the past.
True.
And it seems like a lot of people, for whatever reason, don't remember what happened to democracy at one point in certain parts of the world.
Very true. Very true. And, it's funny you mentioned that because, it was brought to my attention that Nazi Germany, Hitler, literally looked at and read a lot of our own history to get almost like for the blueprint.
Well, that blueprint has been recycled for centuries.
That's a hell of a blueprint.
And it's funny. Like I said, some people are organized to the point where they know what they want.
Yeah.
And they're willing to do what they need to do to get it.
But see, the thing, I do want to play a little bit of devil's advocate because I don't think that if we're going to talk about the Republican Party, I do not think that they are as organized as they would like us to think. Or I don't think that, like you said, the Democratic Party is not as organized. I think after 4 years, this is the best candidate that you can come up with.
I don't
know if the word best.
I don't think the best. But
no, but that's what I'm saying. Like there was no one else, absolutely no one else on both sides.
When it came to it, okay, so we know democracy is based upon what the people want, and it seems
allegedly,
right? And it seems, and it's assumed that whatever candidate they had, they voted for Trump. He won. Like he wasn't even. I don't think he was even. He wasn't even on the ticket.
He wasn't even. He ran unopposed.
You know what I'm saying? It was like he won. It was Haley, and he destroyed her. It was like it wasn't even a race.
I get that, but what I'm saying is, there was nobody else.
Well, I mean,
no one else. I mean,
you have your political factions that are strong, and
true.
I think sometimes they intimidate other political factions, and I mean, on the Democratic side, you have they defer to the current candidate, and I mean, like it or not, I mean, Biden I mean, he didn't have many eventful things happen during his term.
No, not at all.
He was really low key compared to the previous presidents.
No key, you said? Did you say no key?
No, low key. He was really low key.
But a lot of times you don't realize what a president does until they are way out of office.
Well, I think the way they orchestrated that Supreme Court takeover was masterful.
Yeah, I mean,
chess.
I mean, you really understand the power that the president has when you look at that, because I mean,
chess.
There's a lot to play with here. I mean, if you dig deep inside this topic,
you really did.
It really is amazing. It's amazing what's going on. But now I'll bring it back to democracy, and I don't think people really understand what's at stake here.
Yeah.
No, they don't. 2025, did I read every last sentence? No. But the excerpts that I heard, excerpts that I did read, it's really about the demise of freedom of choice. Really, and that's what it comes down to, freedom of choice. It's like, I want you because I said so, because you are loyal, or you down with me. Let's roll.
Yeah.
Well, I think that even if it's the erosion of rights.
Mm-hmm. Good word.
Hold up.
Georgia.
I'm learning the buttons.
We just keep on pushing them, baby. Keep on pushing them.
But now, seriously, it's a play for how to set up your situation.
Yeah.
How can I align the cards so that everything is in my favor?
Mm-hmm.
And it's up to somebody to counteract it. You got to be active. You have to actively engage. You just can't let the enemy just take over and just, dominate.
No, you can't. And it comes from action, like you said, us, people like us.
Oh, yeah.
The voter.
Absolutely. I mean, it pisses me off when I hear people say, "I'm not going to vote."
I'm just not gonna vote.
That's wild. I mean, if you're not happy with the situation, you should engage.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Pick a
Because how can you
side.
complain? Exactly. Stop being on the fence.
Pick a side.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Pick a side and engage. I mean, change comes from engaging and causing change.
And hope.
Hope.
And the ability
Keep
to
hope alive.
Hope.
I had a dream.
So let's just switch gears a little bit and talk about Biden and everything that's been going on. So we saw the debate and everyone's reaction to the debate. What do you think?
Well, I mean, well, first of all, I like Biden. I like him.
That sounded so not convincing.
That didn't sound
He
convincing.
sure is a nice
He's
guy.
he's a nice enough guy.
He's a nice guy. But you know, it's funny. He doesn't seem to have the transparent agenda that Trump has. You can see what Trump wants.
Yeah.
Biden
And
is
he
just
says it all the time.
Biden is just doing his job.
But is that a detriment to him reclaiming the spot? So to
Well, there's this talk about Biden stepping down. There's talk about people replacing him, and Kamala Harris being the runner, and then them getting
speak? Shout out to Kamala Harris.
Yeah, we got give her some applause. But you know, it's funny. I don't know. I just
I'm more asking about the competency. Like, do you feel like that is a legit issue when it comes to Biden? Do you feel like that should not be a legit issue when it comes to Trump? Because they're very, very close in age. If you saw any of his speech from the Republican convention, that was pretty much all over the place.
I think that the competency, basically the president is a figurehead and he has a team of people around him.
Exactly.
And they run the situation.
Exactly.
So what we've been experiencing the last 4 years has been people doing that. And hey, man, listen, it just depends. Your team, you're only as strong as your team.
That's the main reason why they're asking him to step down or to because they feel that he's not
The leader.
physically or cognitively ready for this job.
Yeah. I mean, take a look at Trump's team from his last term. Where are they right now?
He fired them all.
No, most of them are in jail.
In jail, yeah.
that too. Yeah.
So
Jail time.
that's just a tale of tape between two situations. I mean, but one of the things that I noticed that's pretty interesting is the way theatrics is coming into politics.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
And it's funny, but it used to be boring, but now it's like almost like WrestleMania.
And you know what? The thing about it is even like Congress, it's some of these people, you would hold politicians at a high regard, and it's, you know, you'd always have some scandal here and there, but for the most part, these are the people that were running the country, that are making decisions, and some of the people you're like, how in the world
But that's the erosion of democracy.
did he get there? How did
Exactly.
she get there?
People voted. People said in whatever little Saskatchewan or Idaho or Boise, somebody said, I want John. And John brought whatever, you know, they want him to be so real. They love that now, which you're right. Back in the day, you were kind of like not straight laced, but definitely you weren't that open and transparent to say like who you hate and who you dislike. And now it's on, like you said, it's like WrestleMania out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, one of the things with politics is that if you were organized and if you had the financial backing, you were a politician if you wanted to be.
Yeah.
Now, the way society worked back then is like they had mores and they had values and they were certain things that you had to a certain level that you had to subscribe to. If you didn't get to that level, you were not considered, good enough to be a politician. Now, you can run for presidency with felonies.
Yeah.
But you can't get a job down the street.
It's really interesting that's the case because, I mean,
but once again, he stacked that deck is stacked. So the Supreme Court justices, don't worry about it.
Yeah. and that's part of that agenda that they're talking about. But that now
continues. When
they put that Project 2025 thing out there, that's an agenda. You see what the agenda is. What is the agenda? The agenda is to make all of these things that they want to happen. That's their agenda. And it's up to the voting public to decide whether or not they subscribe to that.
And I think you made a point because of everything that goes on in the country in terms of laws and bills. I don't believe them. I don't stand behind all of them.
Right.
But I think everybody should have a right to have a right.
And that's what democracy is. Democracy is you have your opinion, I got mine, you got your opinion, which is usually valid.
It's just always
It's always valid.
It's usually valid. It's usually valid.
That's right, Jess.
I feel like y'all was just trying to play me right there.
No.
I had your back. I had your back.
Your opinion means a lot to me.
I don't like the way this conversation is going.
Jess, I had your back. I was like, always valid.
I don't know about this.
You get a sound, Jess. Here you go.
Yeah,
that's the wrong
give
one.
me the regular basic. Nah.
There you go. Nah, but seriously though, I mean, I'll be honest with you though. When I was in college, I hated politics.
Yes.
I hate politics. I really do. I understand that it's a necessary evil. But one thing that I don't like about politics is how it divides the country.
I mean, it's always divided the country.
And that I don't like that. I mean,
but it's just so more evident now.
Now it's just
scary. You said it at the
now
top.
it's scary.
It's one of the things that
It's blatant now.
I try to avoid talking about it when I was in college. I just didn't want to, because the minute you talk about politics to people, they turn into different people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But now, even though you don't like something, you have to deal with it.
You have to stick your head out the sand, because if not, you get run over in terms of just the things that other agendas are trying to be placed upon society. And if I'd rather say I voted and it might not go my way, but I voted, versus I just sat there and let it happen.
Yeah,
I exercised my right to not vote.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't believe that some people are like not engaging. I think that some people are turned off by the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't blame them.
But
it is a show.
But what's at stake?
Everything.
Everything.
Literally everything.
So I guess the message here, if we need a message, is please go out and vote.
Yeah.
Can we say that?
Yes,
Yeah.
please vote.
Please vote.
Every vote counts.
Every
Whether
vote counts.
You think it
whoever you want to
doesn't or
vote
not.
for, you vote for whoever you want to vote for. But please do your research.
Please.
Do your analysis of the situation.
Please.
And it is really not about us currently that we got to look at. We got to look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
We have kids,
Yes.
a future generation that is coming up, and we can't just abandon them and leave them in the hands of people who don't take their interests at heart.
At heart at all.
And talking about voting, presidential, that whole vote is so important, but think about your local, your city, your town. That directly affects you,
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, voting for councilmen, voting for
attorney
general, your mayor, all up and down the line, because at the end of the day, engaging in the system is what makes it work for you.
Yep.
But a lot of people
And
don't, they don't
matters.
think it's important. I just don't. I don't know why. I know. I take it very, very seriously, because when you have a pothole in your road, you see the sideways of the highways dirty. It has a lot to do with who you put in place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those simple things like that.
And using your voice. I mean, this is a cliche. People have died for the right you have now.
Yep,
That's real talk.
that's
real talk.
everything. Everything.
And you can't forget it. A lot of people look directly at a situation and don't understand the history behind it. There's history behind everything that's happening because it's happened before.
Yeah.
You just got to be willing to look it up and research it and pick up a book.
And history always repeats itself.
Did he said pick up a book?
I said pick up a book.
Do people do that anymore?
Do people read?
I don't know. Or, download an audiobook. How about that?
Wow.
But
Dude,
it's
he
true.
said read. You know what?
Yeah,
Hold on. We got
it's true. You got to pick up a book. If you want an audiobook, that's all good. But you have to
Do you
read.
Jess?
I do read.
What do you read?
I read.
What do you read?
Sometimes I read books.
Okay.
Sometimes I read
Magazines?
magazines.
Oh.
Yes, I read.
But
I love reading.
I do read.
I'm like a closet nerd. I know you can't
But
tell.
we're older, so of course we still read.
Man, listen.
I prefer a book than like reading something on my phone or an audio. I mean, in the car, audio books are great, but I still like to have that actual book in my hand.
I love to read. I mean, that's one of the things that I think it separates people. If you are a reader, you're usually knowledgeable about a
very
lot of
much
things,
so.
and you can
teach yourself
navigate
everything.
life.
Yeah.
So I try to encourage that with my kids and tell them to read. The new generation really doesn't read a lot.
It's interesting because my daughter reads like everything from anime books to, she wants to be a veterinarian, so she reads a lot of animal books and doctor books and all kind of stuff.
How old is your daughter?
She'll be 16.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Great.
Yeah.
But
I think it's probably the same. Like people, like when back in the day, you had very avid readers. You have people that just read it in school or what they needed to do for school.
Cursory readers.
Yeah.
People that read when they need to.
But
yeah,
I
that
didn't
makes sense.
used to
Same
read.
thing.
I did not used to. Not that I didn't read. I read, but not to the
Can
point
you
where
read?
You would
let me see.
you would never know that.
BBC.
I know.
You're extremely articulate. I would never know that you didn't read.
I try to be.
Don't
I
say
fake
that.
it.
You're articulate.
I
We can
fake
go
it.
on.
But
See, Juan got jokes today. I don't know if I'm
No,
feeling
but-
this side of
it's
Juan
like,
at
it's
all.
gotta be like that. Now it's time for another story. But I used to, not that I didn't like reading, but I found as I got older, reading changed my my viewpoint, changed my attitude, just everything that I did on a day-to-day basis. So that's why I instilled that into my child to say like, yo, you need to read because this is going to be able to take you the way you want to go.
And reading is fundamental.
You know, I did just say that.
I was getting ready to say
Shout
that
out to
too.
Riff. Rapping is fundamental, my man.
Circa 19
gosh.
what? 19
Who knows? Class act, right?
1990.
Class
Is that
act?
95 maybe?
Yeah, 95, 96.
Oh
is
wow,
definitely-
maybe I gotta look that up.
Yeah,
Hold
class
up.
act,
Yeah,
right?
y'all keep talking. Let me.
Reading is fundamental.
Oh man, that
It
was
sure is.
wow.
it
that's-
really is, though. All jokes
is.
aside.
It's if you don't,
So, Gene, you keep picking up those books.
I'm gonna keep on till I don't read anymore.
Oh, my gosh.
But it's definitely a mainstay for people, and like we stated before, there's a lot of stuff out there that you have to do your research on.
Wow, you
Yeah.
know, reading is fundamental. 1966.
Wow,
I know, but I'm talking about class act
Wow.
with Kid and Play. Remember
I
that?
remember that. I remember
I
that.
don't know about nothing about 1966.
Shout out to Kid and Play.
Yeah, I'm talking about class act, Kid and Play.
1966, Jeff.
Yeah, nah, that I don't know nothing about that.
That's amazing.
You know what? Now you see,
Not
he
for
got
me.
a lot of jokes.
I know. We're gonna have to roll back the tape. I don't know about this one.
Go back to tape.
I'm serious.
I'm just very impressed.
Class act, I'm talking about.
Oh,
You
okay.
remember
With
Class
Kid and
Act
Play.
with Kid and Play, and the big guy,
I'm impressed too, because
the one that
that's
didn't like.
that's Kid and Play's homeboy right here. Hold on, we gonna give us a little.
Shout out to Kid and Play.
Thank you.
Front house.
This is interesting.
Let me look that up because you're making me mad.
Nah, you don't look it up. You good.
Oh my goodness.
This is 1960s.
Gene, you know when it was, right?
Well, let me see. 89 and 90.
For over
House
50
Party.
years.
And then
Wow.
came House Party.
Look at that.
2,
For over
House
50
Party
years, we have
3.
been providing books. To
1992.
See, 92.
Class Act.
Oh, okay.
The movie.
I thought you was talking about the original movement of reading.
No, I'm talking about that guy talking about reading is fundamental.
Oh, wow.
You remember that,
I
right,
remember
Gene?
that
Thank
part.
you. Yes.
But maybe.
Why just ruin that
maybe
whole thing
Jess
for me?
Did research and understands where it started from.
And that's
No,
amazing.
but I will now.
That's amazing.
You know what?
I can honestly say that no, I did not know where it started from.
That's
I thought it
dope.
was Class Act. So now I will do my research
Wow.
and let that be a lesson to all of you.
That felt appropriate to put that there.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
true. Very true.
Well, any other topics that we feel the need to divulge on?
No, I need to take a deep breath.
And that was our historian,
Yeah,
Jess.
right there.
the historian.
Yeah. She, well, you know, she
Taking
does
it
hold
all the way
us. She
back
holds
to
us accountable.
1992.
She holds us accountable.
She
She
put
brings precise information.
What?
Just holds it down.
No.
the bomb.
What I think
The
Juan
bomb. Jess
said
is the bomb. Hold up.
We're okay with your opinion, right? Isn't that what he said? Like, sometimes we're okay with your opinion. I'm still a little bitter from that.
You're a little bitter.
I'm still a little
Nah,
bitter for
You're a
that.
little better. A little better.
See, I'm learning the buttons. See,
I see, bro.
that's funny. But
Well, you know, I just, you know, I think this is a good topic. I hope somebody takes it to heart. And
absolutely.
And you know what? I'm going to go and finish reading about Project 2025 because I just, again, just like bits and pieces here and there and being appalled by the stuff you do read and the stuff you hear. But I think we should all go back and actually take a good look at it.
You know, I think reading about that is good. I'm gonna do that too. One of the other things that I'm gonna do is just make myself acclimated to what these candidates really stand for. Some of the things, see where the money is coming from, and
I was going to say that when you do the research, because what I'm going to do is really find out like who started the project, who's connected to the committee and the board, who actually crafted it, because from what I'm hearing, it all seems to be around that same circle.
yeah,
And to me, that's like you said, we see what the agenda is.
yeah. So
Wrap up.
You're listening to Soundwave Live, all things music, talk, culture, and vibes. I'm Jessica Carl,
my name is Juan COON.
And I am Gene Groove Allen.
and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.